welcome to another video. Today we're having a look at some VIEGO mid footage that is right from my oven this time. This is a gold ranked game that I played with a pre-made. Still learning the VIEGO mid, of course, but I wanted to talk about this game because it is a very important game to review, as I made some really big mistakes, but also still did a generally good job in the game, but I made a really important mistake that you guys might make as well. So I'm gonna jump right into the game. So we're fighting against an Orianna, which means it is for sure a matchup where you need a lot of resistances. So we are going for the Doran's shield here. I also have Resolve secondary with second wind, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but the second wind here is important, as a lot of the times you will not be able to hit the Orianna while she hits you. And so basically the way you can imagine the healing on VIEGO to work out is this: if you can off cooldown proc your Taste of Blood is the best option. However, if you can't, then second wind oftentimes is a very good sustain option in lanes where you know you are going to take a good amount of damage. Now, Orianna here is going for Phase Rush. Phase Rush is a rune that we will have to play around, as it directly counters us. However, she will have less damage available to herself. So that means that we can allow ourselves to trade a little bit more and try to make her use her Phase Rush without any utility, which then makes us basically just have a rune up on her, right? Because then it's like her having, like, I don't know, some completely not usable rune, right? So here, as you can see, I'm trying to bait her ability out, right? This is very important on melees, and you can see here she used her Phase Rush, right? So I'm still a little bit like queuing for not that much reason, but what my Q achieves here is that I do a lot of damage to the wave, and she is opting for a 3-wave push in here. This is a very good one. It's a very safe opening. And yeah, as you can see here, I'm trying to kind of work with things, and I realize, okay, she used her W here, right? I don't want to talk about what I just did, but that was very bad. And you can see I'm playing this reasonably slow and trying to dodge, but she used her W again, right? Which is important. So here, her Phase Rush is used up, by the way. So, you know, I get a small little opening, but as you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage. But, and this is very important for any Orianna player, you really don't want to use your W a lot, right? So here, for example, she used her W and she just lost a ton of mana, right? 130 mana to not deal that much damage to me, especially without Aerie. You have to conserve the mana, and most of your damage has to come out. Another thing that she should be doing is she should be mirroring the way that I play on the wave, and try to kind of punish me with every single minion that I'm CSing. So here, I'm setting up for a gank, right? And she ends up flashing. And here, I'm waiting because I know that I can kill her here, right? And as you can see, it's a very simple flash W. She's just not respecting the fact that she flashed. I didn't have to flash, and I can just get her. It's very low level of play, of course, right? But I mean, I think it's still a good one because you know, the laning phase specific stuff still applies, and you know, on a basic level, you can understand what's going on pretty well here, right? So this game, I have a couple of build options here, right? And I opt in for a very aggressive option. No, okay, good. Because here's the thing, right? The Vampiric Scepter is a ridiculously strong item because of multiple things, right? So if you're playing a resourceless AD mid laner, this item gives you a lot of sustain, and it allows you to play a War of Attrition. War of Attrition means you trade with the enemy and you trade your HP for their mana, which this Orianna has shown to me that she doesn't have a good grasp of the resource war, right? That you have to play versus someone like a Katarina, like a Viego, you know, like those champions that just don't use resources, right? So here, every single time I trade with her now, I afterwards, by attacking the wave, will be able to close the gap of how valuable her spells were, where she still loses the mana. So you saw me here hold my W a little bit. This is a very small thing. And then here what happens, right, is that she just fails the skill check, the low level, just very, very baseline type of skill check, where as an Orianna player, you're kind of used to be able to walking in here. But as you could see, the phase rush didn't really do enough. And here I can now take disadvantageous trades because I know my ultimate is about to come up, right? And so then I will just straight up murder her. And you can see it here. We have a huge wave that has been slowly pushing in. And now I just wait, right? I attack her here, I W, and I hit the ultimate. And here, in hindsight, I maybe could have gotten out. Maybe if I straight run away. But here, I was mainly concerned with Kayn not getting the kill because I don't want to feed Kayn. I don't want to feed Kayn the range stacks from the Orianna, right? And I mean, I generally don't want to feed him anything. So if I can avoid the assist, then that's good. So here, I go for Swifties. This is a very odd thing, but if you're ahead, you can do this, where this allows me to kind of ignore her. And if you look at the enemy team will have a lot of slows, which can hurt VIEGO quite a bit. So this allows me to, first of all, it gives me the most movement speed. So it allows me to kind of ignore her phase rush even in an all-in. But also, it allows her to not be able to kite me with the W as hard. So here, I freeze the wave, right? I'm very far ahead. I have ways to regenerate HP here. And so what I can do here is I can, okay, here I think I'm just reacting to the fact that Lee Sin is fighting. And the Kayn ends up getting out, and I mean, just super like ego play by the Orianna, right? Just kind of dies here for no reason. This is terrible, right? This, like, it's, I'm not saying that I played this laning phase amazingly or anything. I definitely didn't. This was just like very mid, right? But I did all the correct moves when it came to like snowballing and stuff, right? You could discuss whether or not my boot choice is the best. You can, you know, a lot of those things you can discuss, but the thing is here, right? Merc Tread's not really worth it. And for the laning phase, the Swifties give me an additional auto attack to 2 with the corresponding Conqueror stacks, which is very important because that allows me to actually just all in her, right? So here, I will have the Blade of the Rune King, and and VIEGO, there are very, very many different builds that you can go for. And one build that I've been recently a very big fan of is the Trinity Force into the Steraks Gauge type of build. But here in this game, I'm going for a more classic build, right? With Blade of the Rune King. I will probably go Blade of the Rune King into a, well, either Trinity Force is if I keep like winning this hard, or a Divine Sundra. Now here, I don't know what Rakan was expecting me to do here, but yeah, I'm just like trading aggressively here, right? And we're just kind of looking for things to happen. And I mean, the Seraphine isn't aware of how strong I am. Here she flashes out. I miss my Q, unfortunately. And I kind of make a very bad play here, but I think it ends up being fine because I'm so far ahead. So we end up finding that kill. And you can see here how, yeah, I just at this point, I'm just very, very outstatted, very strong. Oriana doesn't have Eri, which makes her incredibly weak in these early skirmishes. And, you know, we just kind of play it out. Very good job by the Lee Sin. You can see here, I'm very, very aggressive. But that's because I want to get the Kayn into a killable threshold. And then the teleport comes out, which, of course, tells us to not make any play here. Now, you could see there how the 3v3, the 2v3, realistically, kind of just worked out in our favor. So here, by the way, we're noting that she used those cooldowns, right? This is very good already. And now all I need to do is just dodge her shit and just kind of play it slow. As my Lee Sin was kind of hovering there. And we'll be doing the dragon here. And the reason I didn't recall is because I'm very far ahead. And this is a kind of suboptimal play that I'm making on purpose here. Because the next buy wouldn't be a very big buy. Attack speed on VIEGO early on isn't really that big. So here Oriana just does some weird shit. She's behind, she starts to panic, right? This is a very big mistake that people can make on a control mage, especially if you're behind on a control mage, you just have to scratch impacting the map oftentimes. So yeah, you can see me here. I'm recalling onto an item power spike now. Oriana kind of has to respect, and I'm willing to give this up. Willing to give this wave up, right? Oriana gets it because I wasn't sure whether or not Oriana was going to come back, whether or not she recalled after running down. Wasn't quite sure. At the end of the day, it's not the best rotation in a high elo game, but you will start to see me play very suboptimally here. Just because I know there's a skill difference, right? So here you can see how strong the phase rush is. This is definitely not a good trade. I thought I could get out. I don't get out. I misplayed that one extremely, right? But you saw I had to take the step into the tower there to avoid Oriana ultimate, and then it all kind of worked weird. And then here you see Gwen says, "I'm walking mid. I don't care." Which means now I have to play top lane here. So Swifties are okay versus Urgot. They don't give me raw combat power. They do give me, in a top lane scenario, they do give me very good rotation. And they allow me to space him, which is good. Also, his Q does slow me, so he does rely on it a little bit. And the rest of my item build is generally pretty good against him. So here, yeah, I mean, this guy, he just goes down, right? And we have kind of made up for the shutdown that we've given. Here, I'm expecting the Gwen to just die to Oriana because, I mean, yeah, she hasn't been doing very well. Let's put it that way, right? But she manages to get it, which is very nice. Our bot lane not having the best of times might also be in part because our Rakan is building full AP for no reason. And yeah, you can see me go for the Divine Sundra here, or think about it at least, because the thing is, Triforce, very nice item, feels very good. But Triforce feels, to me, right now, feels better as a standalone damage item. If you go like very defensive kind of stats afterwards, right? You need a lot of HP, then Triforce is a really good one item because it gives you attack speed, gives you a lot of what you want. But for 2 items, I think that Divine Sundra is ridiculously strong, because what Divine Sundra does is it works pretty well versus a potential red Kayn, which we're seeing a blue Kayn now, so this is totally fine. But also reasonably good versus the Urgot. Okay? Now, you can see that my early game looking pretty dominant, right? Looking very good. I'm rotating into a lane that is technically, I mean, this is a counter lane. You shouldn't be allowed to fight an Urgot. And I'm telling my jungler here to not. This is on voice comms. I'm telling him to not contest this. And he's kind of just looking for a steal. And I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, this is such a weird thing that happens sometimes. Do you see that with the plant? I was definitely on the side of the plant. And it just doesn't throw me over the wall. Rito. There's this one angle where it just throws you against the wall, which is really annoying. So here I'm kind of hovering because I know I can't just fight this guy. He has Black Cleaver. He is super strong. But as you can see here, I'm kind of fighting over the turret because I don't want the minions to walk into the tower. And I want to prevent damage against the tower. So here, Kayn, I am ready to scrap with Kayn and fight Kayn a little bit, right? And here I'm just misplay it because what I wanted to do here is I wanted to flash over the wall and then R onto Kayn. But as you can see, I missed the flash because I'm not hugging the wall enough. And then here he gets to Q me, right? Otherwise, I would have flashed and then ulted over and I would have possessed the Kayn. And then maybe would have been able to get out. Most likely not. But here I just die. This is very bad because I blow my flash. I blow my ultimate. I still die to them. This is very bad of me. It's very aggressive and very stupid of me to try to fight the Kayn here. And this is the first like really big mistake that I'm making here. Where I'm just trying to outplay and it doesn't work. Now, in a high reload game, you shouldn't do this. If you really want to win games, you shouldn't do this. But again, I'm currently practicing VIEGO, right? So I want to try to make these plays, and I need to get better at these kind of plays because, you know, even though I'm a diamond player, I'm probably one of the like least mechanically good ones. And a lot of my ability was like playing Victor and just minimizing and playing very good over the course of like multiple games, just being super consistent on Victor. Winning every matchup, or not winning, but neutral to winning every matchup. Not really having any matchup that destroys me except Echo, which I just always lose at some point of the game. But yeah, so here now so this is number one, right? I can see that he's here, so I kind of just tell him to fuck off, right? And I kind of want to understand what I can do here because now I'm stuck in the side lane. I'm not too strong at that point. I don't have my ultimate, so of course what we want to do is we want to shove in a wave and then group for the team fight here. And you can see me kind of do that. I'm a little bit slow on the move there, and I realize this situation is kind of, you know, gone far enough. And so fighting here is a little bit of a difficult thing because there's not a lot of chase down potential for me, and we are not fighting over anything, right? Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to fight. And so I'm kind of just, I know I can get a guaranteed lead here. And I can, you know, just kind of hang out here and get my Divine Sandra. And just kind of play this out. Now, I see that we continue fighting in the mid lane. So you will see. And this is a thing, right? I'm respecting the fact that the enemy team kind of is going back here. And what that means is that someone might be rotating or someone might be low HP. Which, you know, my F key is not really that good, so, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so our team engages there, although, you know, they don't have to because Gwen is moving away and I'm too. It's fine. I'm muting someone else who's, like, also crying. His team very, very angry all the time. But now I have Divine Sandra. Now I have a really big item. And now I want to group because now I'm very, very big, right? I have strong items. I have 2 items that have incredible synergy. And this might be the peak of my... It's definitely kind of the peak of my damage in a way. And afterwards, there's just gonna be some other things that come. So here, the reason I walk with is because here I want to get the transform. But then I can just hug the wall and ult out and just leave. But I go for the ego play. And, well, I realize that I do no damage to this guy. And it's totally fine. I could have gone for the Seraphine here. I could have ulted out. But I kind of just trade myself in. And this is very, very weak play of me. But, you know, I'm kind of limit testing, which is something that I do a lot. For not that much reason. So here, enemy team just overstays very hard. I can just come in. And both of these are more or less just dead. As you can see, I can just walk them down. And in this case, massive damage out of the Kayn actually. And yeah, I'm trying to be very careful. Kayn just thinks it's not worth it. You will find me here trying to kind of put a teammate between me and Urgot. But I know I can stay around. I know I can do a lot because we have a man advantage here. And depending on what Urgot does, right, we can do a lot here. So here the Lee Sin outplays the Urgot ultimate. And now I can kind of stick around. But this is something that usually I would just play side lane here. Usually I wouldn't take part in this. Usually as a Victor, I would be around 170 CS-ish, right? That would my goal would be like 170 upwards CS. And especially how ahead I am. But as a VIEGO, this is kind of different. Because as a VIEGO, I've reached my peak. I mean, not really, but also kind of yes. I still have a lot of strong items coming up for me, but it's not going to be the same growth that Orianna has, right? And a very similar thing goes for the Urgot, which is the problem here. Urgot is the fucking problem for me because I don't really get through him. And he's just crazy strong. Now, at that point, I wasn't really aware how strong he was. But yeah. So another thing maybe we can have a look at here is you can see the top lane, right? And I'm kind of just staying here. I'm covering the Gwen just in case that the enemy team maybe sends another person. They try to maybe kill Gwen or do some stupid shit that I can punish. And then once the wave is in tower range here, I arrive and maybe I miss like 1 or 2 minions, but it's worth it to cover this. Now I do kind of want to go for the side lane again, because now with the ebb and flow of the game, right, I was more or less grouping for the objective. Of course, we didn't have a chance to do the objective, but I was grouping at the time of the objective because I figured that, you know, this is the most likely a situation where also people fight. Maybe they think, okay, we can kill Gwen here as well, you know, try to max out their lead or whatever, and I can punish it. Now, here, right, the objective has fallen, so there's no point to fight. Of course, we fight. And I'm just going to recall here. But, of course, Orianna shows up. Orianna moves in a way that shows me that she has no clue what's going on. So I'm going to just take her down here, right? You see here, finally, I've learned I'm not taking the transform. And you see that I'm just straight up running out here. This is because in my mind, Kayn and Urgot are coming for me, and because I don't see anyone, right? Everyone is missing off the map. I need to be super careful here. Our AD carry is gone, and then here, at this point, I assess, okay, I mean, if people were coming for me, they would have been there, and I assume, okay, they recalled, because the enemy team, of course, also doesn't have the best macro, right? So here, what I do, this is something that I almost always do, is I let this wave sit here, and I try to get the XP, while kind of being closer to a fight and trying to trap people, right? So here we managed to get a kill onto the Urgot. We get the flash out of the Kayn. I can't really reach that, but the extended fight, I can do something here. I flash onto the Seraphine. I managed to take down the Seraphine, and we managed to take down the Orianna. Again, this is not a front-to-back fight like the enemy team wants, right? It's a very chaotic fight with people from every angle. And yeah, so suboptimal fight for the enemy team, and we win it. I have my Starrock's Gauge now, thanks to the kills. And here my team ends up overextending, and I think I should have probably stuck around here. This is just me kind of being in the platinum brain, high plat brain, where people just automatically go like, okay, we don't need to like walk into the mid lane turret right now, and just play a little bit backwards again. This is of course not the case here. And you can see that our AD carry died, which means optimally Gwen should be the one who is down here, but Gwen is going to die, and the Baron just goes away, right? The Baron's just gone. It kind of sucks, but I'm not level 16. I'm not at that point where I can 1v5 them. However, and this is the thing, right, is we have enough people to stop them if we can play this out. And so I was down there, right? I pushed out the wave. Even if they get the Baron, we gain a lot of time from that wave. And then here we go for a steal, and I just play this very slow, this fight. And I managed to clean up one person here, right? And now I kind of have to figure out what I can do. Go for the Seraphine, play that one out. Fortunately, I still get flip, which I wasn't expecting. And the Caitlyn barely manages to take me down because she flashed behind the Urgot there. Very, very close range flash. If I have my Ignite there, maybe if I don't get flipped, for sure, I can play that out. It's rather unfortunate. I wasn't expecting to get flipped there. But yeah, my grasp on the game, not the best. Xayah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty angry about this, right? Xayah just kind of gambles that she's alive, which, like, Urgot could have just come from the other side. But she ends up getting taken down anyway by the Caitlyn. It's pretty unfortunate. You know, what do you do? But we prevented the Baron, right? Which is very good. Also, yeah, she's running Infinity Edge, which is like, you know, Xayah, you should go Gale Force here in a low elo game, right? Maybe like higher elos, you can go Navoris as well. But I think Gale Force is just so much more reliable. You can reposition versus the Orianna, versus the Urgot, versus the Kayn. Yeah, in my mind, you definitely want that. Build, kind of questionable. Behavior, very questionable by our team here. And here, I just need to kind of play this out. It's rough because I'm taking a lot of damage, so I'm pinging them away because I can't just like straight up fight anymore. I'm trying to stun here. All of this doesn't work out. I get ulted by the Seraphine, which means I ult into a different direction, right, to be able to split up the fight. And I kind of managed to do it. It's a very rough situation. I misplayed that for sure, sticking around there. But I have this tendency, and yeah, I will stick around here again because, again, like this is a very important objective that I kind of just don't want to let go. And I'm very strong, so people, yeah, as you can see, like I'm a head crab for the enemy team. Now the dragon goes down. This is usually the situation where now my team will get engaged on. And Xayah, ultimate, no Gale Force is available. Xayah just goes down, and here Seraphine makes a really big mistake. Seraphine thinks she can kill me with the exhaust. But I'm very, very strong. So here I go. Outplay the Kayn, bait him in there, and take out the Orianna. Now only this piece of meat is alive, but this piece of meat is also the strongest. So I try to play this out in the Orianna form because it allows me to put some damage onto him while he's not able to hit me back and get me into lethal. And then here we manage to take him down. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I should have left this to Xayah because I need someone else to be strong here, not only me. Here I stumble upon the Caitlyn. Unfortunately, Caitlyn doesn't go down, which is very tragic. I don't have my ultimate there. I probably didn't need to use my ultimate for the Urgot, and I think I should have, like, my reflex should have been to give Xayah the money anyway. But yeah, I have a Black Cleaver now. I feel like I'm really freaking strong now. I'm like, okay, with a Black Cleaver, there's a good chance that I can actually kind of kill the enemy top lane. Now, I don't fully agree with that assessment in hindsight, but you know, without anti-heal, things are much more difficult. So here, I'm kind of waiting for the Kayn, yeah, because I'm gonna try to kill him, take him out of that rotation. It's a very obvious rotation, right? So here I flash Q on him, and then he thinks he can get away, but I use a lot, but this is still fine. And then here, I missed the Kane W, and I just get killed, right? And this is very bad. I was expecting to do more damage. This is a bit of an issue because this Kane is also just very weak, so I do very little damage, but I missed the W, which is the focal point of his kit. And I kind of misplayed that, and it cost our team. And you can see here that I have this tendency to make a lot of solo plays, and that's because I'm used to playing in different ranks. So I cannot predict what my team is going to do. And I found this a lot when playing in lower elos, is that I int on the champions that I have a lot of muscle memory on and that I do well on higher elo. And the reason why is because I read my team to do different things. So I would think that, for example, I would think a tank, right? How do I put this? For example, I would expect if I hit like 2 E's on a Victor, right? I hit 2 E's on the enemy AD carry. I would expect the tank to just blow all their cooldowns to create space and just run into the fight, no matter what. Because at that point, the enemy AD carry has to basically gamble if they want to stay in the fight, right? And of course, dependent on the situation, right? But here in this elo, this is still kind of like the low gold. Like people don't really know what they're doing. So there's a good chance that the tank just stays behind us, or you know, just doesn't do anything, or miss like half their spells that are just point blank. And so I have this reflex of like, then I would position myself forward because I'm expecting my tanks to position forward, and then I just walk into the enemy team and die, look like an asshole, right? And this happens to me a lot. In this situation, this is definitely not the case. This is just me being a dumbass, by the way. I'm not like, you know, I'm not coping here and being like, oh yeah, I'm so great. But here, this is a little bit something that I didn't even realize during the game. But here, I don't understand how she sees me, because I thought that I should be able to see her, but she doesn't. But she's aware of me already. And I think that's probably because right here, there's this little thing that happens. But yeah, so I miss my W. This is like kind of weird because she walks into her team instead of walking away. It does make sense though. I could have predicted that. But again, my mind, right? She dodges upwards. Kind of goes away from me, but very good dodge by her. And then here, I just don't find a lot of damage. I get pulled out of my abilities, and I'm just not tanky enough. I didn't spend my gold. So a couple of things here, right? I didn't spend my gold. That's number one. Number two, I run into 3 enemies. I thought I would just run into Seraphine and her because of the way that I read the map. And my team isn't in range. So all of these things, very, very bad. If I'm able to stall there, if I have a Zonya in my inventory, a stopwatch in my inventory, which at this point maybe I should have had, we can play this out and we probably win the fight off of it and probably win the game off of that. But otherwise, if I just play it mechanically better, maybe I kill her. Maybe I kill the Caitlyn, but afterwards I'm not able to kill both of the mages, as both of them are able to CC me, throw me around, and just stun me and hold me down while peeling for themselves. So very unplayable for me, and generally just not a good idea to go into ego mode, right? This is very bad of me. Now, I do these kind of things also because I'm a little desperate, because, you know, like things are not looking very good, right? We have an AP Rakan who doesn't do anything. We have a Xayah that, you know, I mean, you know, doesn't have the best of times. And, I mean, yeah. Lee Sin's like kind of trying to hold it together, but he's completely useless at this point as well. Because he just can't, like, he just doesn't do enough damage anymore. He doesn't have a lot of impact. He isn't snowballed enough. And a big issue here, I took a lot of resources, right? So I took pretty much every kill that I was part of. Not good. Not good if you play the way that I did there, right? You just run into the enemy team for no reason. So here, I'm like, okay, we just kill this guy, right? And the freaking Orianna. So look at what happens to Rakan. Rakan gets chased here. And here I'm like, wait. We just killed this guy because I wasn't looking at the Orianna. I go onto him. And if it wasn't for Orianna and for the Seraphine, that's fine. If it wasn't for Orianna and the Seraphine in the fight with Caitlyn, I still kill the AD carry there. Unless it's like a Vayne or whatever. So these guys, hardcore peel off of me. I 100% should be running anti-heal this game. Okay? Why? Urgot has Jak'Sho. Orianna and Seraphine have a lot of healing because the new Echoes of Helia is very strong. And somehow, I didn't realize that, but the amount of healing and shielding received here is ridiculous. And the healing is just an issue, right? So that's definitely a mistake that I made, itemization-wise. But otherwise, this, I would say, is like an average kind of thing. Because I just thought they overextended and wasn't tracking the fact that Orianna is also still alive. So, you know, basically what happened is that literally just everyone on our team died except the AD carry. Right? And then here I die, and this is where we lose the game. More or less, right? And then, yeah, Rakan is tilting me a little bit because, you know, he's playing AP and shit, and I'm just like, dude, come on, man, you're playing AP. Like, can you just not? And it's rather unfortunate because if we manage to get the kill on Urgot there, right, everything looks very different. Again, this is just me kind of over aggressing, and I want and this ties into a different situation because there are a lot of different builds out there for VIEGO, and you can build a lot of different things, and I have been building a lot of different things, and I'm going to change that. Why? Because knowing breakpoints is super important. I am not doing a good job at judging breakpoints right now, even though I have a 200-ish games on VIEGO now. And that is because I'm playing a lot of different builds. And I'm usually playing Kraken Slayer a lot. I'm usually playing, you know, Trinity Force a lot. I'm playing Sterak's Gage Trinity Force. I have a lot of different builds. And there are some games where you need to vary your builds, but my point here is that I think sometimes, for me, what I'm going to do now is, until I manage to hit high platinum on the VIEGO, I will probably try to just figure out one build, maybe two builds, and just nail them. Just learn the breakpoints, learn what I can do with them, you know, and just understand the damage. So that's that, right? So if we look at how I've lost the game here, it's been every single time it's been like engaging just a little bit out of range for my team, just a little bit too aggressive, just feeling a little bit too ahead. And this is in part because I think I've never played versus Urgot before. I've definitely never played versus Urgot whatchamacallit before. Versus Urgot and Seraphine before. So yeah. And here, I mean, you know, we got the Baron. And I kind of just want to push out waves and kind of try to put us in a good spot here, right? Now, we are starting the drag. We're not starting the dragon here. And, oh yeah, we are not starting the dragon here. I'm kind of angry about that. I really wanted to start the dragon as quickly as possible. Nothing is really happening. And I would say that in this time, right, Kayn was top. We had an option here, right now. If we do the dragon right here, we just take it. More or less before Kayn is there. Maybe Kayn arrives, but it doesn't really matter, right? And then here, in this situation, now we are already in a bad situation. We need to get this dragon. And then the Lee Sin, unfortunately, doesn't get the steal. Very good. He generally has a pretty good track record. As you could see, I didn't like mechanically outplay this. I'm not a genius. I expected the Seraphine ultimate to come out here, so that's why I like sidestep it like this. And I'm kind of just not able to do anything in fights. And this is the reason why you saw me engage like a maniac and play the way, is because the enemy team knows that they just need to 5v5, and they've been showing us that that's what they want to do in the past 10 to 15 minutes, because Urgot's been dropping a lot of CS and just grouping mid, and they just get resources out of it. Now, I can't really do a lot. I can't really do my job with that. And so for me, the issue is that I have to ask myself, how do we, pull these fights apart? So here, I take over the Orianna. I need to be very careful with Orianna here. The Seraphine oversteps once again in a fight. I get the transform. I can kind of play this out slowly, right? But unfortunately, here again, the Rakan dies as well. And I'm alive. But I'm the only one alive, which kind of sucks. So here, I'm trying to outplay the Kayn, and look at this. So I get tagged, barely get tagged by the W because I don't dodge in a 90-degree angle, and that's how he wins. Like, he stays alive here. Oh, actually no, never mind. He dies as well. But I mean, yeah, Lee Sin has to use his flash. Very good job by Lee Sin picking that kill up, but unfortunately, that's still he still wins the potential outplay. I wanted to outplay him there. Again, maybe that isn't even necessary. Yeah, definitely isn't necessary. I could just go back to base, give up one turret, and come back and just kill him on the second one, or not kill him and just, But unfortunately, he's also much stronger than I last time checked, because last time I killed him, he had like 4 less kills or 5 less kills than he has right now. So he's been able to get a lot of money. Now, my AD carry doesn't have a lot of money, but she is more or less starting to get full build right now, right? Her item's absolutely atrocious, but it is what it is. And here, I'm kind of just tempted to just try to get my death stance as quickly as possible, but I'm thinking about whether or not I should get death stance or GA. The problem is this. GA versus a Caitlyn, kind of a question mark, right? So I think at the end of the day, I decide on the death stance. So here you can see me get into that flank position. It's a standard flank position. I would like Lee Sin to be on the other side here to push people into me, but I mean, it's fine. Like, I understand, right? And here the Kayn kind of just going for the classic like wall poke strategy. And what I'm hoping for is for the Urgot to pull the trigger onto the Kai'Sa, onto the Xayah for no reason. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen, right? So here now, I'm just, and Lee Sin as well, we're just trying to kind of stall and, create a little bit more time. And again, right? I'm just hopelessly overestimating how much damage I do. Caitlyn flashing out of my combo, healing out, just getting all of her HP back anyway, right? And you can see how impossible it is for me to do anything in team fights here. Like, I have to go in. If I go in right here, that's where I can do something, right? But this Rakan hasn't been very good with the engages, so yeah, that's terrible. And then here, unfortunately, the Xayah also just flashes in after Orianna, which, I mean, that's definitely not good. And Lee Sin doing a very, very smart move here. Yeah, Gwen being heavy as hell again, loses to the Seraphine. And here, yeah, Lee Sin doing absolutely amazing, because he clears the wave, kind of taking away any chance to take down the towers. Gwen overstays, Gwen dies. Very tragic. Lee Sin in this situation goes down as well, which he's been doing a really good job so far. This absolutely stupid to overstay there, right? Because here he's kind of just egoing and he doesn't need to, and he just goes down before the objectives happen. And yeah, he might be able to join the objectives if we can stall and stuff, but at the end of the day, right? it's definitely not a good idea. So here we get contested on the dragon. Again, my ultimate also very questionable of use versus the enemy team here. And here you can see me play this a little bit slower, but still just unfortunately not slow enough, and I just bleed out and die. And this is just kind of the problem, right? It's like the Gale Force as well, and then I just get locked down, and you can just see how like I just can't do anything. If I make one misstep, right, which like this is a misstep from Caitlyn, but it doesn't matter, right? So the way that these things work is like, yeah, I hit her here, and then you know, I jump in here like an animal and just get smited and killed, right? And off of that, we lose this objective for sure now. Now the objective was down before, right? Like, because here our team dies, so the objective is lost at this point. But I managed to get one clapback, and at this point I kind of have to get another one. Now, if I had flash here, by the way, if I had flash here, I WQ flash, right? But here, the reason I'm ulting is to get my ultimate hit with the slow onto the Caitlyn. And then here, and this is, I don't know why I thought that I had my ultimate, but I thought I had my ultimate here. Somehow, yeah. So I thought here I have my ultimate. And this is in part like the UI changes. Like, you see how the abilities aren't grayed out anymore. This is like messing with me because I'm used to like glancing down there and seeing the grayed out abilities that I don't have. For some odd reason, I thought my ultimate was still up, so I went to ultimate slow the Caitlyn and then get another ultimate slow. But yeah, that didn't work out, and I think we just lose off of this. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. We don't lose off of this. Oh yeah, the next point, we managed to get the Baron here, and now look at me. Look at me. I'm probably like the worst person to be fed because I just make these stupid ass mistakes still, right? So this is really rough because here what I'm thinking, what my brain is thinking here is top lane wave is huge. So Urgot, in my mind, goes to clear out the top lane wave, and that's why everyone plays this far back. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, so Caitlyn, we see Caitlyn and Seraphine, and the way they're playing is like the perfect, like this is how people play if like Urgot just recalled or whatever, right? And I'm just like, okay. Dum 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 da 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 da. It's fucking over. GG. Animal. And yeah, just like that, I ran down the game. So I hope you're learning a lot from this self-roast, this little self-roast of mine. Not the best day, not the best game. Just kind of trying to like over carry this, but you know, we're still learning VIEGO out here, and it's kind of weird to be the most fed member, so I think I needed to give some kills to the Xayah. Although the Xayah wasn't very good, although the Xayah flashed into an assassin's ability, although the Xayah built Infinity Edge on Xayah, I think I just need to give some money over to her. And I also need to play a little bit slower here, right? But very difficult game. These kind of games are very difficult. The meta right now, very difficult for VIEGO with Seraphine and all these echoes of Hylia champions being in the meta right now. Janna very strong against you. Milio is ridiculously good against you. And currently it's a hard life for a VIEGO mid. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tell me, do you like this kind of video, or do you prefer normal casts of high level players?